You know, part of me always knew it, but this rewatch I've been doing confirmed it. If I had to describe to someone what Gundam Wing was about in a single sentence, I would call it the D1 Crash Out Olympics. And I dare anybody else that has watched the show to tell me I'm lying. Every single one of our 5 main characters is looking for any, and I mean any excuse to blow themselves and everyone within a 5,000 mile radius to that big Juice WRLD concert in the sky at a moment's notice. We are talking absolute zero self-preservation instinct here, people, and I was completely unprepared for just how out of pocket this show really is. Before even getting into the story proper, we gotta spend just a minute talking about the legendary opening to this show. Now, I'll be the first person to tell somebody that Just Communication is an absolute bop, and White Reflection is sitting right up there next to it. I remember seeing this bad boy pop up on Mom's CRT back in the day, and it's one of the earliest experiences I can recall of just immediately falling in love with a piece of media, and it made me a fan of Gundam and anime from that day forward. Seeing it with adult eyes now, I cannot help but smile and laugh a bit at how much it's just oozing with melodrama. One of the funniest conversations to me right now in the cultural zeitgeist is a discussion about anime aura farming and how characters will go out of their way to show off their aesthetics, sense of style, or just overall cool factor in unnecessary and often even the most inappropriate moments. Piccolo, Sasuke Uchiha, Killua from Hunter x Hunter are names that often pop up on the list. But I promise you, these fellows cannot hold a candle to my man's Hero Yui and the rest of the cast of Gundam Wing. The first frame of the show is my man Hero in his tank top with his little booty shorts hitting the absolute shit out of this JoJo pose with his hands in front of his face while those synths from the band and 2-Mix are playing. It is one of the most iconic shots of all time. The opening progresses and the aura farming only escalates as we're introduced to the rest of the squad. Up next, you got Duo Maxwell, who was 15 going on 39 if his dub actor has anything to say about it from the way his voice direction goes. But this does not stop him from being one of the most likable characters in the show and a fan favorite. Duo's mobile suit is a Gundam Death Sight, the edgiest mech to come out in 1995, and to this day one of my favorite mobile suits. Now I'm pretty sure it's solely responsible for building at least 85% of my aesthetic sensibilities. Duo himself came from a church family, but don't get it twisted. He will take somebody off the map just as quick as any of the rest of the goons in the 5-man lineup. And what I think sets Duo apart is his down-to-earthness compared to the rest of the crew. The 5 Gundam pilots in this series are the most emo, sad boy, pretentious, up their own booty hole group of teenagers you'll ever meet, and I say that with all the love in the world. And don't get me wrong, each of the characters have their own reasons for being the way they are, and as we learn later, the Gundams themselves, especially the main Suit Wing Zero, seems capable of putting his pilot under some kind of outrageous snow bunny mind control where the will of the mech makes the pilot do its own bidding. But because of the overall seriousness and uptight nature of the rest of the crew, Duo provides a refreshing bit of comic relief, along with being dripped out and a snack in his own right, as we'll discuss what's very intentional by the creators in just a bit with all the pilots. Next, posed up in his carny outfit, we have the one and only Troy Barton. Troy is a heartthrob mystery man of few words. Only things we really know about the kid is that he's a one-of-a-kind acrobat for the damn circus of all things. He knows how to rock the hell out of a bang, and speaking of bangs, the boy likes shooty guns a whole hell of a lot. Being the pilot of the Gundam Heavy Arms, a suit that is practically a walking gun, is something I'm sure gets every American fan a little tight in the trousers. And another cool fact that I heard somewhere along the grapevine was that Duo and Troa inspired both Yun and Yang from the Street Fighter series, and with me being a huge fighting game nerd, I thought that was a hella cool fact. Next, we see the cultural appropriation kingpin catcher Rababa winner. Bro, I don't know what to do with this man. For story purposes, he is a resident soft boy who would rather make you a nice tea and play Uno than pilot a mobile suit. But Catra is also heir to the Winter family, who I'm understanding to be of Middle Eastern origin, are keen on their diplomatic abilities. While that's all well and good, and I'm not saying it ain't possible, this fella being blonde with green eyes and looking like the whitest thing since Macaulay Culkin absolutely makes me lose my stuffing when I think about his origin. My nitpicking aside though, Catra serves as the voice of reason in the Gundam crew, working to direct the brooding self-seriousness of the other pilots towards productive ends. He is the pilot of the Gundam Sandrock, which I think is slept on. One of the most hilariously ironic things to me though is the fact that while Catra prides himself on peace, the blades on Sandrock seem to be some of the most objectively brutal ways to off an enemy out of any of the Gundams. I would take getting smoked by Hero's Buster Rifle any day over getting a heated up Sandrock blade to the cockpit. And then we have this absolute unit, Chang Wu Fei. From the moment you peep Buddy's hairline, you know he's going to be a wild boy, and he does not disappoint in that sense. You know, it's rare for me to say that a character in the story is genuinely unlikable. I'm pretty solid at looking at silver linings and nuance when it comes to most characters. But I gotta be real, for 95% of Gundam Wing's runtime, Chang Wu Fei is a straight asshole, man. A funny asshole, but an asshole nonetheless. And as we learn later, the homie has a really weird, tragic situation going on with his past, where I'm pretty sure his Gundam he calls Nataku is also his wife, giving a whole new meaning to the term messy cockpit, but that's far too much to get into for the scope of this video. All you really need to know is that this fella gets his shape ups from the same place Balrog from Street Fighter goes. He likes killing people for no reason a whole lot, and he has absolutely zero respect for women.
Are you listening, woman? I don't kill bleeding hearts or women.
I hope the incel community never finds out about Chang Wu-Fei, because he might dethrone Elon Musk as their new god. And lastly, we gotta talk about our boy Hito. Bro, I don't know where to begin. For most of Gundam's runtime, dude is a legitimate psycho. He will kill at the drop of a hat, laugh about it, and has no personality to speak of. Which makes it even funnier that the entirety of Gundam Wing is basically who can glaze heroes pole the sloppiest. Like, it's actually insane. Men, women, animals, nobody is apparently safe from Hito's Riz domain. It's to the point that our boy Troll gets so caught up in the sauce that he tries to blow himself and his Gundam up at one point in the story simply to prove he got that dog in him like Hero does. Only to get stopped last minute by the cougar at the circus, who has the hots for him and slaps some brain cells back into his head. Now, as the show goes on, Hito softens just a bit, and we learn that he may be getting influenced by the Zero system present in his Gundam to be a bit more of a maniac, but that does not change the fact that this little boy is sincerely off his rocker. And earlier I mentioned Duo being a snack, right? Well, to go along with that, all the Gundam boys were designed to be husbando bait. I hadn't realized it before, but upon looking into it, I found a wealth of information exploring how the creators of Gundam Wing very much had the female audience in mind as they designed the characters and story, and you can truly feel it on so many levels. Not just with the spiciness of the official art, of the constant aura farming, posing, brooding, and overall charming mysteriousness of the boy band-esque Gundam 5, but within the story structure itself, with the giant robots often taking the backseat to political intrigue, love triangles, and character interactions in a way that you rarely see for shonen strictly designed for the male gaze. What made this extra real for me was when I inadvertently made a Gundam Wing fan out of my daughter, who after seeing the opening in the first couple episodes, became enraptured in the story and has now resolved herself to living a life of marital bliss with both Duo and Hito in her mature years. Big shout outs to the creator Blue Nova, who did an excellent dive into how the ladies have helped to keep Gundam afloat over the years in his video, The Women Save Gundam. And I highly recommend it to anyone in the audience wanting to get a bigger picture look at the origins and continued growth of the Gundam series. Now, the initial episode starts us off in the shoes of Elder God tier crash dummy Hito Yui, who is on a mission to massacre some civilian aircraft for Kami knows what reason, because we genuinely know nothing about the kid at this point. Before he can murder in cold blood, though, Hito gets orders to turn his attention to a carrier nearby holding some enemy forces that should be taken out sooner rather than later. The opposing fleet notices the UFO and busts out a couple of mecha, aka mobile suits, to make short work of the disturbance. Little did they know that this wasn't just your everyday aircraft this terror was piloting. In the seconds, we get a transformation scene that I know had to have made Bandai millions in toy revenue when Hero goes from plane mode and takes his mech's true form, the fearsome Wing Gundam, far above the firepower any of these broke boys in the colony should have been able to drum up. Realizing the time for stealth had passed, Hero pulls out the Blick and twin buster rifles both these poor fellows into non-existence, rocking a straighter face than when Coach pulls up and tells Jokic you won't be able to see his horses next weekend. Worse than that, this fella Hero just starts busting out laughing.
One more to go.
Oh man, you just caught two bodies less than 5 minutes into the show and now we're acting like this? Zex Marquise, the baddest bitch in the Alliance military, gets up off his pure silicone thigh-high boots and makes his way to the pilot's bay. Decide he needs to check who's ever in that Gundam up close and personal, since they clearly been feeling a little too froggy. But along with having the biggest body count in the Alliance military, I'll let you be the judge if I'm talking about friend or foe. He's also got the biggest IQ, and he knows damn well that sorry-ass Kmart suit he came out there with ain't doing nothing to pure Gundanium alloy. So he decides to get a little freaky, pretzel and suit up against the wing like some forbidden tantric mech on mech massage, sending the kid crashing to the Earth's surface so he can secure the kill and pick up the suit later like it's some loot in Baldur's Gate 3, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. The plan is a success, and Hero's crazy ass comes crashing down to the Earth, making the first of many, just so many near-death experiences that our pro tag is going to go through. Our view shifts and we see the young highborn lady on the space shuttle making her way through town when she notices upon the water some dude in a space jacket sprawled on the sand hitting the Master Chief death animation. She takes off the mask to deliver mouth-to-mouth when Hero's immediately spooked awake and tries to recalibrate his encryption. Hero starts losing it because he's supposed to be going solid snake through this whole affair, leaving no trace, and now he's got the civvy woman close enough to smell his morning ration of booty-os on his breath. And y'all remember me talking about Mr. Yui being the face of the Crash Out Olympics, right? Well, here's where that saga truly begins, because after he realizes he's been compromised, without second thought, the man hits the self-delete button on his super suit. But he was really prepared to blow both him and her up right there, but fortunately for his company, the explosion wasn't enough. So homie explodes his chest, looks up and is like, damn, I still ain't dead, and proceeds to skedaddle the moment he regains feeling in his legs, and she tells him the ambulance is coming. Then a man like Hiro Yui proceeds to beat the life out of the medical staff coming to check in on him, finesses the ambulance and gets out of there, presumably just working to gather enough acceleration to propel himself into a brick wall and end the series right there. But Hiro's far from the only one that's toxic, because tell me why homegirl who nearly lost her life on the beach coming to the rescue of this comatose teenager gets swept off her feet by his Jeffrey Dahmer, Jason Aura, and Dark Triad swag and starts talking to herself, daydreaming about redoing their intro to one another so she could get another proper chance at a greeting. Here we have Relina Peacecraft, daughter of the most influential peace ambassadors on the colonies to the Earth Alliance, and patron saint of I can save them energy for all womankind. I hope that Kami, my daughter, doesn't ever get the bug from an absolute crash test dummy like Hiro and the way this poor girl got it here. This quick look is already getting long though, so I'll go ahead and end it by speaking on a scene that continues to live in infamy from the intro. We fast forward and Relina sits in class ready for another monotonous lecture. She almost loses her mind when the teacher introduces a new student by the name of Hiro Yui. It's the same young man she found washed up on the beach. Relina quivered with excitement when he was tasked with sitting next to her. She would finally be able to introduce herself to the mystery hunk and begin courtship with him proper. So while on break, Relina gets the stones to approach Hiro, holding in her hand a coveted invitation to her annual birthday bash. It's such a high honor, everyone in the class stops what they're doing to congratulate Hiro for getting invited.
Congratulations! Congratulations! Congratulations!
Hiro's response to this is absolutely incomprehensible. The man takes the invitation and rips that shit up like a brand new set of skateboard wheels right in front of Relina's face. She is crushed, beyond crushed. And as the sorrow escapes her eyes in the form of tears, this absolute demon Hiro comes up to her and wipes the tears from her eyes. She can't believe it. Hope returns to her soul. Maybe she'll yet have a chance with the new bad boy in town to contain Miss Stone Heart. Then as Hiro prepares to walk away, he looks her directly in the eyes and says, "I'll kill you."
I'll kill you.
And then leaves. Man, what, bro? To this day, every time I see this, I'm overcome with laughter and confusion. Just what was this man cooking? But that's enough for me, y'all. That's where I'm signing off. What are your thoughts on Gundam Wing? Is it the undebatable classic that many of us consider it to be, or is it more rose-tinted millennial garbage for the waste bin? Let me know in the comments. Don't play yourself like Relina did. Hit that subscribe button for the one time on your way out of here, and let me know if you want to see more Gundam Wing content in the future. Be easy, y'all, and catch you again in the next video.